Morning. So, there's no good way to begin this video because no matter what I say or do, it's going to sound incredibly awkward and weird because it's been forever since I filmed a YouTube video. So, I'm just going to start. Hi, how are you? I'm incredibly nervous. I think it's just because this all feels very unfamiliar to me. I hope you're doing well, especially during this very, very weird, it's almost 2 years now. So I'm going to try and keep this video as organized as possible. It might be a little scattered and all over the place because, like I said, it's been a very long time since I've done this. So I guess this is me saying I'm officially back on YouTube. I didn't intend to disappear from the platform, but I mean, we all know what happened at the beginning of 2020, and then life just sort of snowballed, and then after a month away, that turned into somebody walking their dog. I'll wait until she leaves. I'm still not comfortable doing this with people around. So, okay. So I'm not really sure where to begin. It's been a really weird year and a half. And I think it's been that way for most people, depending on where you live. So I've been off most social media. I've been on YouTube watching videos, but I haven't been posting, obviously. Technically, I still have my Instagram, although I only ever really post the odd picture of my cat, and that's about it. For the most part, I haven't really been active on that platform either. The only platform I'm still really engaged with on a regular basis is Twitter. But I wanted to give you an update and talk about coming back to my channel and the direction I plan on taking my channel going forward. I've been away from YouTube since March 2020 when all hell broke loose in North America. I don't dare say the names out loud because the YouTube overlords have attitude when you mention or anything to do with. So we're just not going to do that. So why did I leave YouTube? Again, it's not something that I set out intentionally to do. It's just that back in March of 2020, things were just a mess. No one really knew what was going on. Nobody had any answers. Everybody was just sort of making things up as they went along. I had already started to take a step back from the beauty community. I just didn't really feel like, I don't know how I can phrase this. I didn't really feel like I wanted to continue going forward making beauty videos at the time anyway. So every time I sat down to film a YouTube video back in March 2020, it just felt so trivial, especially when people were getting sick and people were losing their jobs and their businesses and things were shutting down and no one knew what was going on. And I just couldn't sit there in front of a camera and fake a smile and pretend like the world wasn't burning. I think not addressing it has a lot to do with the fact that I'm an introvert and I tend to not address things head on. I'll push it down and push it down and push it down and avoid confrontation and avoid dealing with something. At the time, though, I wasn't really happy with the direction my channel was going anyways. So I felt the best solution was just to take a step back and come back when I was ready. So that's pretty much the main reason why I stepped away from YouTube. So now what do I plan on doing going forward? I'm going to be changing the direction of my channel completely. My plan going forward is to not make any review videos and beauty related content. So I've taken the last year to reflect on everything and whether I even wanted to come back to this channel at all or even keep making videos. I don't know. I love YouTube. I've been watching it since 2008. I started watching makeup and lifestyle videos at first, but my love of that side of YouTube has evolved, and I'm just not into beauty videos anymore. They're just not my thing. And I used to watch beauty videos all the time. I was addicted to Emily Noel and Zetalia, and I remember there was a YouTuber called Liv Loves Her Makeup. I used to watch them all the time. And I haven't watched a beauty I think the last beauty video I sat down to watch was in March 2020. I couldn't tell you what's going on in the world of makeup anymore. I've been watching a crap ton of YouTube videos throughout the pandemic, but none are beauty related. So I can't keep making beauty. Sorry, if I keep looking down, I'm playing with my coffee cup, and it's just because I'm nervous, and this is really unfamiliar to me. So I can't keep making beauty videos when my heart's just not into it. But I do want to bring my YouTube channel back to life. I'm ready to come back and take it in a different direction. I'm thankful for the subscribers that have stuck around for the past year and a half that I haven't posted. If you would like to stick around for future videos, I would love to have you here. If not, I completely understand. So I just wanted to say thank you for the support that you've shown me along the way and all the positive comments you've left me. So thank you for sticking with me, but now it's time for me to move on and make the channel about my own interests. Sorry, I had to move. I was in a park and it was dead for the first little bit when I was filming, and then all of a sudden the sun came out and it just started getting infiltrated with people, and I don't mind the odd person around when I'm filming, but when it starts getting crowded, I start getting self-conscious. So going forward, I'm going to be making true crime videos with a focus on cold cases, missing persons, and I think I'm going to talk about historical cases that a lot of people might not necessarily know about, or cases that kind of just didn't get a lot of public scrutiny at the time. I know it's a big shift from beauty videos, and again, totally understand if you're a subscriber of mine and you want to move on. True crime is definitely a better fit for me than the beauty community. Again, nothing against the beauty community, nothing against beauty videos. It's just, it's not my type of content anymore. It's not what I enjoy watching. And truthfully, I think when I was making the last couple of videos I made here on YouTube that were beauty related, I think people could tell I wasn't enjoying myself anymore. Another big reason I think this is a good time to make this shift in my channel is what's happening in Canada right now. We have a little bit of government bureaucracy drama taking place right now. Although it's kind of on hold, but I don't know when it's going to pick up again. Basically, our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, wants to regulate YouTube. That's putting it in simple terms. He wants to, oh God, I don't even know how to get into this without explaining Canadian bureaucracy, but I'm going to try and keep it short. Okay, so basically he wants to regulate platforms like YouTube and Netflix and other apps, even Pornhub. That one made me raise an eyebrow, but whatever. Basically, he doesn't think... We have what's called the CRTC in Canada, which is kind of, I guess, the Canadian equivalent of the FTC, but more bureaucratic. So there are a huge amount of federal grants given out annually to promote Canadian content, mostly in television and music and film. And this started back in the day when Canadians consumed most of their content through television and movies, and most of our content came from the United States. So to level the playing field and to give Canadian artists a chance of being discovered, some well-intentioned people created these grants to develop Canadian content. And this was also around the time that a whole bunch of regulations were created to ensure that only Canadian content would air on Canadian airwaves at certain times. And these regulations are governed by a body called the CRTC. So the CRTC tells radio stations what songs they have to play and how many times they have to play it, which is why at any given moment, at some point in Canada, you can probably find a radio stations playing Patio Lanterns. They also control when certain shows have to be aired on Canadian television stations. The CRTC rules for what is and isn't Canadian are confusing at best. It works on a point system, and points are given if an actor or an actress or a musician is Canadian, or a producer or a director. And this point system basically determines how Canadian the content is. There is a point to this rant, I promise you. So Justin Trudeau wants to put YouTube under the same system as television and radio to promote Canadian content to viewers, which is ridiculous, So if this passes and this law goes into effect, apparently it's only supposed to affect creators with large subscriber counts. But all YouTubers start off small. We don't all start off with 1 million subscribers. So what might not affect me now could affect me a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. I don't know. So if this bill is passed, it would mean that if my channel grew to a substantial size, I would have to abide by CRTC regulations, which basically means a certain percentage of the content that I make has to be Canadian content. The thing is, I'm the creator, I'm the director, I'm the producer, I'm the editor, I'm the person in these videos. I don't know how I could make it more Canadian if I tried. Again, doesn't make any sense because under current regulations, I mean, everything about my channel is Canadian because I am a Canadian creator. So I have a feeling a certain percentage of the topics, sorry about the air quotes, it's just everything about this is absolutely ridiculous. So basically everything with the CRTC is always complicated. So I have a feeling that the point system will include the topics of the YouTube videos, which means a certain percentage of my YouTube videos would have to have a Canadian focused topic. And if I didn't do this and I didn't play nice with the CRTC, it would mean that I wouldn't get featured on the homepage, or I would get downgraded in search. So that's another reason why I'm sort of leaving the beauty community, because other than the fact that my heart really wasn't into making beauty videos anymore, this whole CRTC regulation kind of gave me a way out. How on earth am I supposed to make makeup content more Canadian? How on earth do I do that? Do I have to review more Canadian products? There aren't that many of them. True crime, on the other hand, I could do a whole channel completely dedicated to Canadian true crime. Cold cases, serial killers, missing persons, we have our fill. For me, I've always felt a little bit odd about it because I've consumed true crime content since I was 16 years old. My very first book that I got into was the Vincent Bugliosi Helter Skelter book. And after that, I was hooked. I wanted to know what made people do what they do. I was really into the psychology of it. And also I had my own personal experiences that they really affected me when I was growing up. I grew up in Burlington, Ontario. And when I was 16, a girl I went to high school with was murdered by a serial killer. And I didn't know her. She was a little bit younger than me. But it really affected our town. You have to understand, Burlington was a very strange city growing up. It was larger in size. I think at the time it had about 120,000 people, so it was a fair size. But it was incredibly safe. It was just one of those towns that nothing bad ever happened here. I mean, I remember back in 1991, we left our doors unlocked all the time. We didn't think about it. So Leslie Mahaffey was a girl I went to high school with back in 1991, and she was taken and murdered by Paul Bernardo. And the last place she was seen alive was like 2 blocks away from my house. So that was one experience that made me want to know why. Why do people do this? Even though sometimes there's really no good answers. And then 7 years later, I found myself in a similar situation. After high school, I took some time off and decided to work for a few years. And then I moved up to Northern Ontario to attend university. I attended Laurentian University. And my very first year there, a girl who was also part of my faculty, she was in a different year, but the music program was very small up there. There was only maybe 100 people in the entire program. But yeah, a girl I was in university with in my program was also murdered. I mean, Sudbury wasn't like Burlington. It wasn't dangerous, but let's just say as a woman, I wouldn't be walking home alone at night there. There's a different vibe to it. And maybe it's because it's a larger city, but it's very isolated. But when Renee died, I don't know, everything just sort of changed. All of a sudden I was back in that place of having tons of questions and no answers, especially in Renee's case because the The police really bungled that investigation. Sadly, Renee's case turned into a cold case and it stayed that way for 20 years. And it wasn't until 2019 they finally arrested someone. So I will be slowly easing myself back into a filming routine. I want to say that I will be filming 3 videos a week, but I can't make that commitment right now because I've been at a YouTube for a year and a half. I don't want to, I'm up for a challenge, but I don't want to make that commitment and then not stick to it. I think I'm going to start with 1 video a week for now, just until I get into a routine. So I think that's it. To sum up, there'll be no more beauty videos and I'll be dipping my toe into the world of true crime. So if that sounds good to you, stay tuned. I don't think I've forgotten anything. I probably have, but I've babbled on long enough. So hit that like button. Let YouTube know that my channel is alive again. And thanks for hanging out with me. And I will see you next time. Bye.